Hello, everybody. What's going on? I want to welcome you to Hot Topics. I'm Pastor A. I'm glad to be with you tonight. We took a week off, had to get us some rest and rejuvenation, but we are back and we are ready to jump on in. I hope you're having a great day, great evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're in South Florida, I hope that you are staying dry, and I hope that everything is well with you. We're going to go right into our cast of guests tonight. We got a different little cast. We have a welcome edition. So I'm going to start with our guests tonight. If you've been following me, it's not Monday. Normally, I would be on her show on Mondays, Table Talk Radio, Table Talk Media. So we're just kind of flipping roles tonight. We took a week off from our show. It's time, man. We got to take breaks in this thing. We don't get paid enough to just kind of go. So we got to just, try to take a little break. And so she's hopping on with us tonight on this hot topic. It is none other than Miss Tanisha Simpkins. Say hello to everybody.
Hey y'all, what happened to the song? I was like really jamming. It's getting hot in here. Hey, I'm like, go ahead, Pastor.
Yeah, see, we're trying to, we can't play it too long for copyright purposes and all that. So we got to kind of keep it short and brief. And it's just crazy because every time I play that, my kids start running out and they just, they think that song just came out yesterday. They bless their heart. They don't know no better. But what's been going on, co-host?
Well, you speaking to me or you speaking to Kimberly?
Yes. I guess everybody's my co-host, huh? I got to be specific. Yes, you.
What's been going on? Well, this month is a long month, so we had like 5 Mondays. So I was like, we need to take a break off of Monday to get, a little rest. It was so much going on. I know we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about this hot politics here in Broward and Dade County, Florida. We're going to talk about going back to school. So I'm just excited. That little one day, I was just so anxious. I texted you, I was like, I need to talk. I was like, what day y'all show on? So let me get up on here with Miss Kimberly and this firecracker. I be seeing you, Keisha, on this Hot Topics.
Firecracker red. Yeah, this is a color show. We got red, blonde, and black. That's how we rolling today.
And gray. And black. Don't forget yourself. Gray.
Who gray?
You.
Who gray? I see no gray.
This wig, but it's a wig.
I see no. We don't want to talk about wigs. So Miss Nikisha, the lady to her left, she's been a little busy. God's been kind of blessing her, so she done took a little hiatus. So we're glad to have her back with us. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
And of course we have Miss, I don't know what to call her, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about that. Lady K, Miss Kimberly Austin, say hello to everybody.
Hi, you could have told me I had the night off since Tanisha was coming.
No night off. And then of course, Beeline McCord is on the road, and so he's going to kind of be chiming in virtually with comments. I'm sure he's not texting and driving, so I'm sure everything's going to be safe. So today is Wednesday, and in Broward County, y'all know what happened. The first day of school. I'm gonna start with the lady with the babies first, and I want to ask, how you doing?
Check on me tomorrow. For the most part, I'm okay. I think some of the preparation, attending some of the parent universities that they did online kind of, prepped you up and getting very versatile with Canvas and, just working through the kinks. Today was an okay day. As you know, everything didn't go as planned. Canvas was down for a bit of hours, so the children weren't able to, teach with the teachers or even meet them. So I think it came up a little after 12 and they were already in another period. So I'm just being optimistic, keeping an open mind and hoping the children don't kill me. But I'm excited about the school year. That's, to be honest, not virtually, but I'm just excited. I have several different grade levels, so I'm just excited for their learning.
Wow, Tanisha, so you have a junior, is she a junior or senior? A spirit of junior or senior?
She's a junior,
So
and
she's a junior, a little more
yeah,
self sufficient, but
yeah, I think
we've
so.
had the superintendent on, and so I think there's been a lot of prep time and lead time to make this thing happen, and then we get online today and say, "Oh, Canvas is not working." Canvas
Yeah.
wasn't working the first day we went virtual. What is going on? What's going on?
I don't know, but I asked my daughter was Canvas working. She said it did work, but she said, but it did come back up eventually. Um, I'm that parent that haven't gotten the desk yet. So she just rolled over in bed and leaned over and did her on her laptop, like which probably a lot of them probably did. So I said, I'm gonna write her a note. I know she's hearing me. That next week she got to get up, take a shower, and be dressed and sitting, in the chair as if you were in school. I do think that's probably a whole lot better. I kind of slipped up this week. I actually have forgot it started today, to be honest with you.
What? That is the luxury of having a self sufficient child. The fact that you forgot that the kid was going to be going to school today. I long for the days where I could forget about that. Guys, if you out there like this, share this. Let us know how your first day went today. Kimberly, what are you doing for preparation? Yes.
Can you hear
There
me?
you go.
I'm getting ready. Yeah.
Are you going to remember? When are you going to remember?
I can't forget. All my kids are anxious. I got one go back next week, and one goes back the following week. Got the desk ready, working on the setup. We went out to the school today to pick up some stuff. I mean, I don't know why they called us out there. I literally got nothing, but I went. I did what they told me to do. I'm not familiar with this e-learning, so I guess they have their orientation coming up on the 24th. So I guess I need to read the stuff and start getting ahead of it. I'm sure Dade County will have it together. Oh, and he's out.
And Tanisha too, what
So,
happened?
oh, Tanisha's out too.
Yeah, I'm
Tanisha.
out
Oh, she
too.
just need to unmute. So
Yeah,
did
I
you?
Oh,
just
there
need to
you go.
unmute. Yeah. So Kimberly, your time is that you guys don't go back until the end of the month.
Right, but my I have one going to kindergarten and he goes back. They were supposed to go back last week. He goes back next week. Goes to private school. They extended it one more week. So they did a lot of extra safety precaution measures. They got water handless sinks installed. They
Oh,
have
okay.
plexi desks installed. They have kiosks where you test your temperature by hand in all the classrooms, hand sanitizing stations. Yeah. It's they. My husband called it Academy of College because he says like a mini college. They have PE uniforms and
Well,
all
that's
this good
good.
stuff for
I mean, that's
kindergartens.
good. I mean, because it's a small group, so
Right.
that can happen. But you have larger schools. But
Right.
there's some elementary schools have small groups. I don't know how that's working out, Keisha. My question is, what about like the ESE kids and kids with disability that's in elementary? Are they home also, or are they in small classrooms? I just always wanted to
To
know
my
that.
understanding, for now, they're home and they're
Correct.
gonna be the first ones that they try to weave back, and they shorten the class sizes of those. Because I have some teacher friends that do ESC, and she has like 4 or 5. They tried to expand, like I guess the paras or the other people to take on a group of them, and so they could be in smaller
Um,
groups. And when they do open back, they're gonna like merge them back in first to get a head start with them and see how that goes. So
That's
What
correct. Same for Broward.
What do you guys think are going to be the biggest challenge in this virtual space? I mean, I've been hearing from parents, and there's some things that we're trying to kick in the tires on as a church. You have parents who, of course, they're working. Nikisha, you stated that you have the luxury of working at home. What would you do if you had to go to work tomorrow? What would be your plan B option?
Well,
Because I'm not
fortunate
sure if that has been thought about in this virtual learning.
it hasn't, and that's been one of my biggest issues because I don't know what I would do. But fortunately, um, the daycare that my children attend has reopened. So if that option does come up, I'm fortunate that the daycare that my children attend would be able to go and e-learn there until school is, reopened. So for me, I have that option, but if I didn't have that option, I'm not sure what I would do. It would literally come to me either saying I have to take a leave of absence or go through some other metric to, at least stay employed or figure it out. But I'm quite sure a lot of people are facing that.
So, Tanisha, you're big about community and partnerships. How can organizations, nonprofits, or people with buildings, a lot of buildings are vacant right now. What do you think can be done to kind of bridge this gap? Because there's a lot of parents. It's gonna we're gonna start to see what's gonna happen as a result of, are the children gonna start falling off? Are the parents gonna lose jobs? So, how do you think we can bridge that gap? What can be done?
well, well, I don't want to say situation, but where there's two options. One, I think I had told you I was trying to attempting to put an e-learning center in the community that I live in. The only down about that is a lot of people don't have the money, and I can't do it for free because I'm paying someone. Now, if they go down on their rent just a little bit more, maybe we can, try to do that because just like Keisha said, and many other parents, if they go to work, they're worried about their kids if they're in the third grade of, being home. You don't want to leave them home or anything like that. So you have to worry about that if you can pay. And then right now, a young lady that I know, Sharon Hughes, out of the Dorsey area over there in Fort Lauderdale, she's trying to put together the same thing, getting an opportunity for a building to be donated. But guess what? Anybody gonna work for free? Then there's also the can you help them learn? Because if you're babysitting, you got to be able to help them learn as well, and just some other little small things. But then there's still only a small group. You got a whole middle school, you have a whole elementary school, so you're only doing about 15 to 20 kids. For parents who aren't able to, and hopefully they're able to get monies to at least give somebody money that week. But again, it's only like 20 kids, but you got a whole you never know who's going back, to work because the way they trying to put us out there soon.
um um I know on I was invited to one of those groups. They said it's on Facebook. It's a group called Pandemic Pod, and they're on Facebook. Many parents signed up. It started out with a group of parents out west, and then some parents in Dade, and they have a set of administrators. People sign up with those administrators, and then they try to place you in different pods in your area, and it's based off what you want to pay. So you say it ranges anywhere from $75 a week to $150 a week, or even higher, depending on what you're expecting. And they're trying to keep it close to like 6 kids because some of the parents are putting up their house and some of the parents
Right.
are going to facilities and stuff like that. So they were hiring, like, because I have a teacher certification, some certified teachers and stuff like that. But the catch was, you have to be able to get to those locations and being in people's house and stuff. And we still have to keep in mind they're not in school because of corona. So you still have to keep in mind where you dropping your kids off with 20
Right.
kids. They might as well go back to school. So that's why they were limited to 6 kids. But some parents are desperate. So my concern is when school does start back and your kid been sitting in a facility with 20 something other kids, then we gonna be back where we was when we get back in public school. They might as well be in school right now.
And I think, Tanisha, you bring up a good point. I think what was missing in this whole equation is there had to be some extra funding to go to organizations and groups that have, as you said, have the the will, but they can't pay. You know, I think if we would have added that component to this virtual reality, where we allocated fundings to churches or organizations and buildings, I think this could have easily gone a whole lot smoother. Because as Kimberly said, their parents, they're desperate to get their kids somewhere. But if you take them to a place that has 20, 30 kids, they said that's in some cases 20 kids is bigger than the classroom right now. And so I think that is a component, and not that it can't happen. It's amazing how we can miraculously find funding and money for things that we want to find money for. And I think that, Broward or Dade County School or just the school system in general did not create the necessary partnerships that was necessary. They had to create the similar partnerships that they did with the feeding side, with the feeding South Florida, things of that nature. They could have easily partnered with people. It wouldn't have cost a whole lot. Yeah, enough to cover some rent, lights, pay a couple of people to monitor. It would not have been that big of a deal. But I believe that's what's lacking. And of course, who is it going to hurt? It's going to hurt the people in the urban community. It's going to
I
hurt the people that cannot afford to pay $200 a week, for their
Right.
child to participate. And so again, it's just one of those things where economics is why we continue to struggle and suffer in this climate. And I think even in this virtual reality, it's going to end up being the same thing. But listen, guys, if you have, there's something again, we're talking about it. We had discussions today at our church. How can we help? We have a facility, we have Wi-Fi, we have space, we have tables, we have chairs. We're willing to do some things. Now we can't do it for free, but we're not trying to necessarily rob people either. But again, it's just difficult for a parent such as Nikisha who have multiple children. You have 3 or 4 children. It's even if it's affordable when you multiply that times 4 or 5, is a reason why they're in public school and not private school. You're still gonna end up with private school rates trying to help out. And so this is just difficult. But guys, if you know of people that are willing, if enough people do it and make it affordable, I think we can kind of get out of this. But it's gonna be very, we got to do something,
I think
because this is the reality of where we're at, and it's not going to change seemingly anytime soon.
Well, I think two things. I see Linda posted about Broward County has it. I know Broward County they provided it at one of their district off a couple of district offices for first responder parents. They did do it for the first responder parents. And then also I guess from a teacher perspective and thinking like a school of think, I think the school board kind of, because the district and the school are so big, schools are so big, I think they probably really did not want the liability and the thing of saying who go, how many go. Because once you start saying we're offering this facility over here for this many kids, you got to think the district have over 100 and something thousand. So now you get the, well, how they kids go, how they kids go. So I think if more community people are out there, maybe you could reach out to the actual school board and see if they have somewhere you could post that your facility is offering and they can extend it to parents. they probably want to take the liability off of them, because once you say the school sent me here, then a parent gonna think liability on the school, and the school's kind of still paying their teachers, and they're liable for there, and they probably don't really want the liability for off and on. With lunch, it's a little different because it's at their property. It's just drive up and go. It's not asking people, and you do got a lot of behavior problems, so you do got to watch. You talking about leaving your kids with some, it sounds simple, sit at a computer and all of that. Well, people that's teaching children and interacting and they're doing more than sitting at a computer have a problem. So a lot of people, you taking a lot of liability to be saying babysit and watch in front of a computer. So that's easier said than done.
I'm glad you said that, Kim, because Frederica was doing an interview with Ronsky, Superintendent Ronsky of Broward County, and that's basically that was his response. She was like, "Well, why they can't just the school have a place here and a place here?" He was like, the liability.
Yeah.
You have kids that may not be behavior because they say first time, they may not know how to deal with them. So you just can't just put them here because that group says they can babysit. You know what I'm saying? You have to have credentials, as a teacher to know how to handle these kids psychological wise. So yeah, yeah, and that plays a whole big deal in it. It's good that the other people are coming together as a community, the pod community, to try to do something because that's probably their last resource or they're
Right.
desperate. But my other thing is the reason why we're trying to get them back in school, or even out of the home in certain areas is because of hunger, um, abuse, to get them back to a daily schedule, of getting up, getting dressed, getting out the house, trying to psychologically, to be around other people. So I know a lot of people say no, they should be in school, they shouldn't be in school, but we need to save our kids. And here I don't know if we need to get quarantined everybody for a
Yeah.
whole 2 weeks and let's get the rocking and rolling, what the case may be. But that's my biggest fear for the kids.
Well, that was my fear with opening it back up. We should have just shut down when we knew school was coming in August, July, or some point. We should have sacrificed like they sacrificed for the economy, to sacrifice for our kids. When you were saying it's gonna be mandatory to open up, they were saying it, but they were not taking the necessary steps to do it. Because we could have been further along had we just made that effort as a nation or a country or whatever. And a lot of people don't. Another thing, a lot of people don't tell the truth about their kids when they sign them up for stuff. They know what be wrong with them children, but they don't. You ain't
Yeah,
gonna. You gonna have to tell them, and you gonna get
You
that.
better say it,
You
Kim.
gonna get that shock look when you talking to them.
not my baby. No,
Mm.
not little John. No, not little Johnny. No.
Mm-mm.
You
You
know,
drop them off and say,
little
"This
Johnny
is the
Kane never
belt that
abuses
make him
on you because you done
respond."
punched him in the face.
Mm-mm. You have to drop them off to those little stations and say, "This how you get him to respond," and leave your belt there.
It's fun, and before we move
Oh
to
boy.
the kind of hot stuff of the day, it's funny you said that about the quarantine because, and this is off subject a little bit, we have seen from two major sports, the NHL and the NBA, who created a bubble to continue their sporting events and playoffs. And do you not know they have not had a single case of the coronavirus? Why? Because everybody was in a bubble or quote unquote quarantine. And because everybody was quarantined, nobody in, nobody out, there has been no cases. Where could we be right now if we went in as Kim said, and it wouldn't have been easy, but a 7 to 10 day fully locked down. Like you can't come out your house unless you escorted by ambulance type of lockdown, similar to what happened in China and other countries,
Yeah.
third world countries. Tanisha, what do you think we could have been if that really have happened? We really took it serious enough and went on a real shutdown.
I think the schools would have been open because they do things by ratio and by percentages. And the less of the percentages, we're going to take that risk. Um, and and that's just something that will have to be because we have to continue, as a country to continue and to go on. But I think that if we would have had that, we would be out. Businesses will still be flourishing. We had to play lockdown. Yeah, we had a play lockdown. That's exactly what we had. But we should have had a real lockdown. So just like you just said, if we were out on the streets, we get a fine, escorted back to the house, all of that, arrested, But yeah, I think we would be functioning. I think we would be just like it was someone that had a lockdown. I can't remember, and everybody was out in the park and
This
having a good time. I was jealous. I was like, we should be like that. Why we just couldn't do that? I mean, I know why, but we should have.
It was similar
because
to a hurricane. And listen, get your gas. We giving you to this day. Get your gas. Get your groceries. Get all that. Even if it was 7 days, I think we would have curved it. Like Brandon, that's a good point. We had a play lockdown. We had a suggestive lockdown. We had if you want to do a type of lockdown. But Walmart was full, Target was full, everything was full. We really didn't have a lockdown. And
Right.
because we didn't have that, we just keep kicking the can down the road. We keep saying it's gonna disappear,
no
and
we.
it
Don't
hasn't
say we.
disappeared. But speaking of disappearing, when was the last time we heard anything about COVID-19 from the president? Y'all remember when he took over and he told the CDC, I got this? Have we heard anything? Remember when he said, I'm going to go back to my daily press briefings about COVID 19? Maybe I've been missing it. Maybe I've been asleep. Maybe I've been distracted. But I haven't seen an update or a briefing, Nikisha, about COVID 19. Seemed like in about 2 weeks.
Well, not from y'all president, but I definitely agree. I mean, I've been watching the news and they, say little updates, but it makes you think, are the numbers really decreasing or are we really, are we getting the factual data? Because granted, the numbers may be decreasing, but it's drastically. We went from almost 1,000 plus cases a day to very minimal reporting now. So it just questions, and I get we want to reopen the economy and school, but we running into fire because we don't know what's really going on at this time.
I think you should have played that clip where that guy from the press say, Mr. President, do you regret lying to the people for
Yes.
3 years? Say what now? You should play that clip. Cause
You, you,
that's
you,
what
you, you talk, you talk about me?
he
You talk about me? No, next question. I mean, Tanisha, for real, maybe I'm tripping, but literally, we haven't heard anything about this virus. Definitely since the DNC convention has started. Definitely since, and we're gonna get to that. Definitely since we got a VP nomination, we haven't heard a single thing about coronavirus. And so I think his disappearing act was, let me get the power of the information and let me remain silent, and that's how I will make it disappear.
Absolutely.
He's been doing briefing, but his briefing been more of campaigning. So that's
Yeah.
how he's been spinning it. So when you see him, you kind of like just stroll along or you pass him on the TV because he's not, he would say one thing and then he would just start talking about, this is good, this is lovely, start having that that conversation extraordinary. Those words that he uses. He would start talking like that. But you'll hear him start talking when he feel like it's profitable for whichever pharmaceutical wants to put the vac. I mean, there are different pharmaceuticals that have created the vaccine, but the one that he want to put his money behind, you'll hear him talking more then.
problem's gonna be that's gonna be too late. And the thing about it, he's not worried about school because he already told y'all how he feel about kids and catching corona and basically for what it's gonna affect, it's worth it to him. So he's not worried about talking about what we want to hear about. And then to go back when you said that the country would have shut down for so many weeks, I'm curious to all the parents that want their kids back in school, how many of them would have not been protesting the shutdown? Because a lot of parents had their children. When I go to the store, I take somebody with me. My children, as much as I can, they sit in the car or something like that. A lot of people had their children in Walmart, on the beach, all these places. So the parents talk like the president. They say one thing but do another because they had their kids summer everywhere. And they wasn't thinking about it. All they know is I need a break. They gotta go to school. But I'm gonna do what I want to do when they ain't in school. And they just got to roll with me. And as parents, you can't think like that. You got to think about how you want the president and the other people to think too.
That's true.
Well, speaking why I think, president's kind of been a little off kilter as of recent, weeks since the last time we met. Uh, Black America, I think they got what they wanted. President Biden, we now have the new ticket, the Biden Harris ticket. It is official. He has a black female, something that black women have asked for, Black America has asked for. I want to start there. What do we think about this ticket and how, Tanisha, how it has affected
You want to choose me first?
Trump? Because sources says that out of all the people he could have chosen, this one is the one that's getting up under his nerve.
Yeah, I call it number 45. Number 45, if I can use this word, is absolutely pissed. Okay, America, he is pissed. Because he chose her, because he knows she's strong, because he supported her, for one thing, and he knows how they're gonna flip the script on that. Because he knows her capability. Everybody say, oh, she's so aggressive, but at the same time, she's calm also, like a little quiet storm type of person. And, like you, Kim, just like that,
You put
she,
Kim and calm in the same sentence? Don't do that. Don't
huh?
do that. You put
Well,
Kim and calm in the same sentence, I say don't do that.
oh no, but yeah, he's not happy with that at all. I mean, on that particular when he announced, it didn't matter who he announced. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm glad that he announced her. Everybody had who they wanted to be announced, but the fact that he chose a black woman, it was very joyful. It was pride. It was like, you go girl. It was like, hey, it was like a happiness in the house and home for black women, because we go through a lot. Not saying that men don't, but it was like, come on sis, we finna do this thing, because baby, this cabinet right here is gonna be women.
Nikisha, so to piggyback off what she said, black girl magic, black woman power. How does it, as a black female, really black? I'm gonna talk about that because now we're debating on how black Camera really is. But as a real black female, how does it make you feel to know that potentially history is about to be made for black females all over the world?
Well, it gives me a sense of empowerment. When you're growing up and you always see the others in all these high places or high spots, it gives you that sense of whatever I want to be in life, I can be it because somebody's already set their foundation. So I'm
Right.
definitely excited about this ticket. She is a very calm, quiet storm. I've seen some of her playbacks, and meanwhile, everybody else up in arms, hair crawling on their back, and she just looking like, what's the problem? So I'm like, yes, sister, we can do this. So I'm definitely excited about the ticket. I'm ready for November. So I'm just excited overall. I'm just like, black girls, we got this.
So, Kim, you've been vocal about how Kamala has really gotten up under the skin of this current president, and really how shocked you were that he picked her. But I think it says a little bit about Biden, because he picked his most forceful opponent, not necessarily polling, but the lady that went after him. I think she really lost, was that because she was so aggressive in Biden, but he chose her. A lot of presidents, um, but Obama did it with Biden. They choose the one that is, unlike 45, he chose one that wasn't even on, didn't even run. But uh, how do you feel about the choice, and how do you feel about how she makes him feel?
I first of all, is she black? Is she American? That's what Trump's saying. So, um, I think he does what he does best. He tries to negate the issue and deflect, throw things in there so people can deflect off of what really needs to be focused. So he don't want people talking, so he started the birth thing. But to talk about how I feel, I see people are talking about, is she gonna change from one thing about black women? You know, we may get judged. Like people may judge us from how we talk and how we say something or whatever. But black women are known for rising to the occasion. If you've been a black woman that been through anything, your situation dictate, because everybody's judging her old from this and that. We don't know the surroundings around what her situations was when she made certain decisions, because the way men hand get tied, women hand get tied different. Women don't have the same opportunities to make what people will quote unquote say the best decision in a work environment, because our work environment look at us different. So sometimes we have to make decisions based off of the unknown and things like that, because we are women. So I want to give her credit for that. But I think his biggest threat was going to be anybody he picked, buy and pick, because everybody buy and pick was educated. And that's one thing him and anybody that's around him lacks: education. None of them. They all lack any, from the department, from the person who's in charge of education, uneducated, to the president, uneducated, to the vice president, uneducated, to the bobblehead press secretary, uneducated. So he was going to be intimidated by Buzz Bunny, because Buzz Bunny is probably more educated than him or anybody on his cabinet. So what he's doing now is not a shock to me. That's just his tactic. The highly educated you are. Look at Michelle Obama. He attacked her because she's educated, highly qualified, highly educated. So I'm waiting to see what his wife's gonna do and how he gonna compare. In fact, Michelle Obama's so educated, his wife took her speech to help her out because of the education that she have. So that's what intimidate him more. Educated folks and educated black folks make him almost want to crawl under a rock. So
Now let me set the record straight, and I agree with Brandon, but I'm gonna set the record straight before I make my point, because I want you guys to hear me out. Anybody, all of the candidates, the quote unquote candidates, all of them were equally qualified. Let's just put that out there. If he would have picked Susan Rice, he would have picked Stacey Abrams. Heck, the lowest qualified to me was Bottoms, and she was qualified,
Right.
you know. But all of them were highly qualified. So let's pull that card off the table. Again, like I said before, I was shocked because he picked her, because she was like, I'm going after the top dog in this race.
Pastor A,
And yes,
listen,
yes.
he may
I
have
think I
picked her.
lost you.
no, she
Can you hear
there.
me?
Go ahead.
I'm here.
Yes, go ahead.
He may have picked her, but you got to realize for every presidential, they have a camp, except
Right.
number 45. He ain't have no camp. So people have the Clinton camp. So this era here is the Obama camp. So everything that he does is based out of the Obama camp. So when they're around that table, yes, Obama is sitting at that table. You know, who we should pick, or who, masterminding. Okay, now after this, we're gonna put this person in the cabinet. The Republicans already know. They already done threw in the towel. Many of my Republican friends, even David, hey, it is what it is. We have to wait after he finished and try to, after the next, 2024, because they know that this man here has to go. And hopefully when he leaves, he will be brought on charges.
Well,
Yeah, that's supposed to be the plan. For real.
and I think you make a point, of course, and that's where I'm leading. All of the women that were, I think they're all going to have a position. No doubt about that. I think they're all going to play a significant role. I think Stacey Abrams and Susan Rice, I think they're going to play key roles in his administration. But here is what I think we got to focus on. I'm not upset about it, but I think we got to focus on. I'm going to throw some numbers at you guys. The number 10, the number 1, and the number 3. I'm going to tell you what those numbers are. Number 10, that is the number from 1748 That is the number of black U.S. senators that have ever made it to the White House. 10. 3. That is the current, or was the current number, the highest number ever in America in history. Number of people in the U.S. Senate, black. Kamala Rice, Cory Booker, Democrat, Tim Scott, Republican. That's 3. Now, 1, first black to ever make it to this point. Here's what I'm trying to say. Political things about chess, not checkers. When Obama became president, we have not regained that seat, black senator seat. Now, the person that was appointed was black, but then he couldn't run. Here's what I'm afraid of. I'm not sure that we will ever get that spot back after this. And we know that, and we're going to get to this, that congressmen and senators, they're the ones that run this stuff. They run it. The president, but they run it. They are in control. And they can stay there as long as they want. So what we have to focus on is just as powerful as Kamala can be as a VP, she was more powerful as a black senator. We're going to lose that voice. And we got to watch that. We have to come up with a strategy to figure out how can we replace that check on the board, because we're going to miss that. And if we're not careful, we may look back on this and say, man, that wasn't worth it. We know history. That I'm looking at it from a political standpoint. Like, man, we lost that piece off the board, and that piece is hard to get, because if it's only been 10 since 1748, we can't guarantee. Yeah, we know a Democrat is going to fill that seat, but would it be a black? And out of the 10, 2 of them have been women. Tanisha, what do you think about that? Like, when you move a piece off a board, you have to replace it, because it's chess, not checkers. And we have to think about those things. And that was the only reason why I was like, oh man, I love it, but man, we gonna lose a lot of power after she's out of office, after they're gone. We're going to lose a lot of power, because I went straight to the Obama seat. We don't even, now it's a white gentleman that's running that seat right now. And I'm not suggesting you, but I'm just talking, we're talking about black. I'm just concerned about that. What y'all think? That's my take. Go ahead, Kimberly.
I get what you're saying, and I agree with everything you're saying. But the thing about right now in this moment, I mean, the whole politics thing is a gamble. You have to gamble. And right now in this moment, knowing what they knew, I mean, we're not at the table, sitting at the table, knowing what they knew, it's a possibility that he picked Kamala because all of those women are firecrackers. But like y'all said, she's probably the one that they felt is gonna play into Trump's hand better to get him to unravel and to do things like that. So I believe that he took a, because we could go off and say, yeah, don't move her from that. But then you pick, I don't want to say the lesser of the candidate, because none of them wasn't the lesser of the candidate. But then we picked the what would consider to be the lesser of the candidate, and then we don't get the job done. So you always got to sacrifice something for something. Now it may work out that they grooming somebody for Kamala. We don't know. Like you said a few years ago, Barack came out of nowhere. Cory Booker came out of nowhere. It could be somebody they grooming for Kamala. We might not know, but I'm just willing to gamble and say they thought about those things. And like I said earlier, we might get someone at the Supreme Court level or at other levels. But her being in that spot, if we get what we want right now with the presidency and get this 45 guy to unravel like he's already doing now, it could be smooth sailing for Biden. Because like the Georgia the lady who ran the Georgia the Georgia candidate, the one that ran for governor. She's good, but I don't
Stacey,
think she would have came out rock. She's good for like a groundkeeper, like to be on the ground, planting seeds, doing stuff like that. Kamala Rice is good. She's good for like the behind the scene thinkers. All of them could probably be molding and working with Kamala to get her to be where, because I do think it's a team of them working. I don't think he just picked this one. I think he probably met with all of them and they all coming together like a real sisterhood or something. But I'm just willing to say he took that gamble because the whole thing was going to be a gamble regardless. One of them was going to come from some key position. But I'm willing to take the gamble now if we get what we want and to possibly have it, what they say will go in the wash or come up in the rents, to hope that it come back up in the rents and we get what we want, or probably even higher, because it gives, like Nikisha said, young black girls an opportunity to see this and to know that you could be groomed, you could do this, you don't have to just stop at this level. So that's why I don't have a problem with it, and I see what you're saying, but it was going to be a gamble anyway.
I just, you saying something, Pastor
and
A?
I'm
I
trying to tell we
agree.
can't hear her.
I agree, but I'm gonna give you a name, and this is where my
I
paranoia
want
comes
let
from.
me
I'm gonna
let
give
me
you a name.
interrupt one thing, Pastor A,
Go ahead.
because Kimberly said something important. Now, one of the reasons why, I'm not going to say just my own reason. One of the reasons why Kamala, whatever, also is because not only is she smart and articulate, but she can raise the money. You hear me? The other people can raise no money like that, and it is what it is. On the
Right.
first night that she was announced, they raised $26 million. Probably came from the Republican. $26 million within 24 hours. That's what they need, which goes to the
Right.
DNC.
I
You
agree.
know,
No,
they
no,
need
no.
that.
That's what I'm saying. She was the best choice. That's the thing. But again, I'm looking at it long term politically, and I'm gonna give you a name. And this is where my paranoia come from. I'm gonna give you a name, and Kim know where I'm going with this. Kendrick Meek.
He
I'm
was
gonna give you
good.
that name. I remember. I never forget. I remember everybody was so gun ho about him running for Congress. Remember that? You know why we
Mhm.
got Rick Scott as the governor? Because Kendrick Meeks ran for Congress. At that moment, Kendrick Meek was the man in the state of Florida.
Right.
He was the was the guy that just ran. He was him, the
Chris.
black guy, y'all know. He was him
Andrew.
before he showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, don't run for Congress. You can win, you can be the governor of Florida in a landslide. And he ran for senator, and you know what? We lost him. He fell off the board, and we lost him. He never came back because that is, and I know it's a risk. It's a risk. It's a
That
risk.
was
And everybody
taunting.
was like, "But we need him in Congress. We need him. It's a good seat." And you know what we got? Marco Rubio. He was going out the Mel Martinez seat, and we ended up with crazy Marco Rubio. And Kendrick, we lost Kendrick forever. He has no recovery. We
It was
lost
because
him.
of the Clintons.
And I look at that, and I know I'm not saying we're gonna lose Kamala, but I'm looking at it like that. Like when you lose pieces off the board, they don't come back. Those are the things, and that's where it's like, man, Camera was exactly what he need in this short term. I believe she with everything y'all said was true. She got the money. She got these AKAs and Deltas and stop fighting each other. They supporting each other. She doing stuff that we got these women coming together like never before. And that's what's going to get him in the White House. However, again, I say
It's just
she
like the
has,
pastors.
unless she
Who do
becomes
we have
president,
after? It's just like
huh?
the pastors. It's just like the pastors. One thing about that is we sometimes as us as black people, and I speak on us because I'm black. We don't prepare people behind us, and that happens so often. Even in the incumbent seats, it's like, okay, so you leave, and now what? Even just like with Representative Lewis, who's behind you? You know, like we don't have the next person, and I believe that that's something that they've already doing. Just like Kimberly said, they doing it. They smart enough, and
They
and
have. I
Kendrick was
pray, and
Kendrick
that's
was
why I said we got to watch it. We got to follow it because I pray that that's what they're doing. I pray that they are smarter than that. Please take a playbook from Obama's camp and have somebody in place groom, because we're seeing what's happening in Baltimore. You got this black female, I forgot her name, that's running in Baltimore now. And she's kicking up some smoke. She's a black Republican. She is kicking up smoke in Baltimore, and she could easily take that seat in Baltimore. That was Cummings' seat, correct? That was Elijah? She can easily take that seat because we don't groom. We don't groom, and that's what we get there and we stay there, and nobody ever comes behind. That's just what I'm afraid of in this situation and other situations that I hope we can kind of hit on tonight. But other situations are happening like that because I don't believe we're going. Now, she has made America, she's pissed America off, y'all, because they got campaign now, Joe and Garden too.
They took it down.
You saw that Amazon. America is bold. For all this, we've grown, we've come together, we've reached far. We always, whenever a black person hits the surface, the real America shows up. Joe in the hole. That somebody thought that they could put that on Amazon and sell it in 2020.
And they probably
Amazon took it down.
Yeah, but it should have never made it that far to go up.
Right.
It shouldn't have made it to go up.
But
that's
that needs to show us as black people, as much as people try to applaud us and say we've arrived, there is a large contingency of America that can't stand blacks, Keisha, and they sure can't stand a black woman.
So can't.
And we're and I think Tanisha, what Kamala has done is they've exposed the ugly side of America again. I think
it's beautiful.
I think this is what's happening. Because when I saw that, I was like, who does that? And think they could get away with it. It's not the fact that they can do it, but remember they used to do this stuff underground in backwoods, and they used to hide. They not hiding no more.
They not hiding. They showing their face.
Trump changed all of that.
They put that on Amazon.
Even if they took it down, I believe that I was looking for someone to say let's boycott them, because they're one of the top 4 people in the world that making the most money in this world, and a lot of it comes from black business. All everything comes from black business. I don't know why we're the one that buy the most products. I don't understand that, but it comes from black business. I think we should have boycotted them. And you're right, Kimberly. How did it make it up? Y'all don't have no type of censorship or something stupid like that. The moment that gone up, it was already posted. Then eventually you took it down. Like, oops, our mistakes. I don't think that was a mistake. I believe your friend called you on the phone. Let that ride, because everything is done strategically. Let that ride. See, to put fear and intimidation with us. But we're such resilient people as black people. I'm not saying that we used to it, but we see it all the time. So, it's like, okay, so I see this. It just only lets us know who we dealing with. And we be dealing with the same people all of our life. If you're 45, 30, 40, 50, whatever, you've been dealing with the same people all of your life. So they're there. We see them now. We see them in our comments. We see them with certain things that they say. That's why I put a post up today, about voting. Hey, listen, if we vote for each other, let's still be cool. We're not beefing, The election is over with. You know what I'm saying? You don't like me, I don't like you. That we're not gonna do that. Let's just move on. But yeah, it's crazy.
And we see it. And speaking of that, in voting, man, Broward County, woo, they I can't say do the damn thing, but they did the doggone thing. They done something. What? Don't worry about it. Rewind the tape. They did something. They did a sweep in every major category: clerk of courts, sheriff, state attorney, supervisor of elections, and the public defender. They all black. They all colored. They all whatever you want to call them. They are that. Black power. This is Broward. This is not a little municipality.
Oh, we're one of the largest in the country.
One of the largest counties in the country pulled this off. Now, this wasn't pulled off because of blacks. Not all blacks.
I don't think so.
No. Some other folks had to vote too, because a lot of these people won in a landslide. I think the closest race was the sheriff's race.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the closest race of them all. I think the supervisor election was pretty close as well. But we're gonna talk about the sheriff race because that sheriff race have divided a lot of households in Broward County. I'm telling you that right now. And the black people,
everybody cool. We ain't beefing.
Listen, that sheriff's race has sent a divide through Broward County because a lot of people was riding on certain people winning, and it didn't necessarily turn out that way. And it's just interesting because there's some black folks beefing about this. I put on my post last night that all black Broward County, and the people who mad are black folks.
Right.
We've been marching Black Lives Matter, we black power, we want this. And Broward County did a clean sweep of every major position in Broward County has to now go through a black person. And the people who are mad, Tanisha, are black folk.
And I'm not mad.
What Keisha, when you see that, what do you think? I'm not a Broward County resident. I should be at this point. I'm there more than I'm in Dade. But when I saw that, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that. I'm like, I'm looking at the results. I'm like, they are sweep. They are killing it.
Well, for me, I was elated. I mean, I've been talking about vote, do your research, get out and vote. So I'm just excited. I look forward to what's to come. Like I said, I'm optimistic. Hopefully what they preached and said they were going to do actually puts pen to paper. So I'm just excited about the overall of us coming together, and hopefully our people actually support them, because that's what they're going to need, is the support of the decisions that they make. Right. So I'm just excited about it. I'm just like, for black people, you can never please us. So it doesn't matter if it's a black person or if they red, are you black enough? So I'm just like, you can never please anyone. So if you voted, you should be happy. I'm very happy. So I'm just like, I'm ready. I feel like it's more examples.
I made that up, girl. That's a hot topic creation.
Yeah, awesome.
But Tanisha, you put something on your page that I think is interesting, and I'm gonna push it a little further. That's what I do. I'm a pusher. I'm gonna push it a little further. You talked about accountability for these people, but I'm gonna push it to say, do you think that? I'm trying to say I could push it without making a lot of people mad. Do you think we overly hold our black people accountable more than we do others? Like, are we more critical? Are we going to look at certain things more critical? Have we allowed other people to get away with murder, and now we're going to hold all these people and we're going to wait for them to make one mistake? Do we do that to ourselves? Because I don't know other races that do that.
Well, hopefully if they make one mistake, because all of them who won made a mistake or two. It's just some things that we just compromise on, with the people we vote for. Even from the presidential Kamala Harris to Obama to whoever. But will we hold them accountable? Yeah, but am I going to be breathing down their neck every second? I told you, he went to Burger King. He said he liked McDonald's. I mean, we can't be, just so erratic about it. But we do have to hold them accountable.
But do you sense that you're in the trenches in Broward County. You sense that there are people that are standing by for some of these people. A lot of them because they got money from other people. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But they're waiting in the wings to crucify a black person, and we've allowed for years where it was a sheriff's office. A lot of innocent black people got murdered, silenced from the state attorney's office. Sachs, he was there 40 years. Nobody protested Sachs for all the stuff he's done. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But now you got people waiting in the wings saying, I'm waiting on them to slip. Why do we contradict Kimberly? Why do we contradict ourselves so much in the black community?
I gotta think of what I was gonna say. First of all, that black lady, I want to talk about her. She won because she started calling them out. I don't know if y'all saw her on the news. She started
Brenda
calling the
Foreman.
demons out of them and everything. And then her numbers started going up. She started early. Sister say, I'm finna let y'all know what time it is. And that pissed them off right there. She called them drunk. She told evidence. She put her story out there for the public to decide. But it got her in. So
Don't
one
piss
time
a
for the
sister off.
girl. One time for the sister girl. And then I want to say, black people, don't relax yourself, because some of them got to be in a November election. They haven't won it yet, and they going up against Mo Money, the Republican side of it, which is the Mo Money. And we don't piss people off by getting that whole black ticket there. So them Republicans digging deep. They digging Donald Trump deep. They digging Donald Trump postal deep, trying to get that money so they can make sure that they get their Republicans in. So whatever we did this time to go to the polls, which y'all did better in Broward, but them numbers were still sorry now. Call your homegirls, them Tanisha,
They was
Lakeisha, and tell them,
sorry.
come on
now,
raise
Kim.
your grandma from the dead and your other family from the dead and put them on, let them get to them polls, because them black people are not in yet. They got to go in runoffs against some big money people. And then I keep hearing all this stuff about Sheriff Tony, because that's where the pastor going about this here sheriff race, and that's who he really talking about. Let's just say it, Sheriff Tony. Everybody want to hold this black man accountable for this white man mistake, but when the black man make mistake, y'all don't go looking for the white man, and y'all don't come behind his back trying to back him up. Sheriff Tony ain't been there for 2 years. And yeah, he might have done some stuff, but ain't nobody talking about the fact that he had to come in and clean up the undone stuff. Trump wants y'all to give him credit, and he ain't even have to clean up. After Obama, he messing up, and everything is good, great, wonderful, marvelous, best it ever was. But then we want to turn around and crucify the black man for stuff that he had to first undo. You know, if you don't know this man's story, you can't okay, so they say he killed somebody way back when. I'm not saying so, but the governor appointed him. That's public record what he did.
Right.
Y'all ain't gonna find it. Somebody came and put it on the news, and everybody like, I told you. That wasn't that hard to find out. Yeah, y'all should be hanging the governor for putting him there. Because the governor had the right to go vet him and get that information, just like any of us. It wasn't hidden. Okay, and he married a white woman that he was hanging out with. Okay, it's a lot of biracial couples, and the man was hanging with his wife in a bikini. So what was so bad about that? We go nitpicking so that we look for stuff, and if somebody start putting some of our stuff out, y'all will lose y'all right to even vote. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, because people want to talk about, oh, they mad at about Sheriff Israel because the people voted for him. Well, the people voted again, and guess what? He's out of there. Fired. Get lost. Hit the road. And then if you want to talk about we voted him in, well, we voted Trump in. And y'all ain't supporting Trump like y'all supporting Israel.
Come on,
and Trump gave y'all $1,200 to support him. And y'all still ain't supporting him. But you go to somebody else. Go ahead.
Tanisha, we had a show about this. You remember, we had a show about this. And you and I both said the same thing about this. Neither of us agreed about Israel the way that happened. We both said we didn't know Tony. We don't know nothing about him. We said just because he was black that we wasn't going to just, we're going to hold him accountable.
Right.
But, however, like I told people, listen, we can't blame the man for accepting the job. You offer me the job to be the top cop in the largest sheriff's department in the United States of America. You would be a fool not to take that. I don't care if Trump, or I don't care if Satan came down from hell with a red suit on. I'm going to take it and pray and ask for repentance. Because you cannot rob yourself of that opportunity. However, since the man has been there, well, I can say this on the record because I've been in Broward County for 10 years. Exact year that Israel. I haven't been to one meeting about an unarmed black man getting shot. When I look at the BSO upper command, it's full of blacks, Hispanics, and women that was not there before. When I look at the HR department in Broward, for the first time in history, the HR department, the hiring department is ran by a black person. You could go on and on. Not perfect, but what I'm saying is there's some people that are so mad. He's got to, as Kim said, he's got to still run as, in the primaries. There are people that are saying that they're not going to support, they're not going to vote. And for the first time in Broward County history, a Republican has a good shot to be the sheriff because black people are mad because their guy didn't get in. And I'm wrestling with that. Help me out. I don't know. I'm wrestling with that right now. I'm like, how is that possible? If you got in, win, fine. Let's rally the troops. But we're gonna pick a guy. Y'all they're gonna refrain from voting with a good chance of somebody that y'all don't know to get in. And some are saying, well, they're not sure is he a Democrat or Republican. First of all, I don't think the sheriff's race should be, I think that should be an apolitical position anyway. Because all they doing is switching party. All of them switch party. Lamberti switch party. Israel switch, all of them switching parties like they switching underwear. So to me, it might as well be an apolitical position anyway, because they all doing it. But when I see that, Tanisha, I'm getting, because I'm hearing it. I'm getting texts about it. I'm hearing it. I can't support him. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all, why would y'all do this to a brother?
I think it's silly. I think because he's in that position now. So guess what? Now I'm Team Tony. You understand what I'm saying? I may have been Team someone else before this, but now I'm Team Tony because that's who I support. One as a Democrat, and that's who I support because I know he's more qualified. I look for the qualifications of people, and anybody who has given promotion to, it's because of their qualification that was overlooked. I don't want to say
they were all already in BSO. He didn't bring in nobody. Unlike Israel, he brought all them boys from Fort Lauderdale. Everybody he promoted was in house. I commend the brother for that.
Right, and the thing about it is, one thing for the Kim about some of the people who in Broward, you know why they don't like Tony? Because they don't know Tony. Israel has been here long enough. He has been all up in the churches. The churches ain't open right now. He's been all up in the churches. He done been all up in the pockets of the churches.
I'm gonna say the real thing. You know about the churches. What he been doing to the churches? Come on now.
A lot of pastors that we know.
Cause Tony been
right,
in the street.
Gave them some street hustle to do this. I seen like two women. I don't know who they is. They probably looking at. I don't care. They was running around acting crazy with the shirt on, just doing a whole bunch of foolishness. Like all that stuff here for a little pocket change that they was getting. But however, he was donating maybe 2,000 to you, but he donating 50,000 to the Jewish community.
Come on.
Real. That's just what they were doing.
Peanuts.
He shouldn't have ran. He shouldn't have ran. I just felt like it was your time. It was done. Move on to the side. Allow others to get that position. I think that he would just prompt, and they did. I think he caused a division of votes. I really wanted to see Al and Tony be those two people because they're two great people. Either or.
I don't even want to talk about Al because Al blew his chance. Al blew his chance. He played politics. He attacked the wrong person. I'm just gonna say that, and he put himself out the race for attacking the wrong person where he had stuff on the other person. He could have used his so-called enemy. That just makes me mad because I'm like you. I thought that it could have easily been a Tony versus Pollock race, but Pollock played the wrong politics because he wanted to. Again, we're attacking each other.
But again,
y'all could have took the man out. You could have took him out of the picture. But you and the votes proved it. Nobody was going for that mess. He had 10,000 votes. Despicable because he ran the wrong campaign.
4,000. He had 4,000 something.
He ran the wrong campaign. And Tony came to my church. Tony asked me at that moment, that day, to endorse him. I told Tony I can't endorse because I want to make sure that I'm able to speak if something goes wrong. And I meant that, and he respected that. Because again, I'm not this can't move me. I don't need a lot of these pastors, and you started it, Tanisha. I'm gonna finish it. A lot of these pastors, a lot of these things done got shut down since Israel done left the sea.
Right. Money, money,
I know that to be
money.
fact. I know that to be fact. Since Israel been gone, a lot of these churches that was doing all these grandiose things are no longer doing it because they was eating off Israel. And that's why they want, and they're selling their parishioners out. And it just pisses me off because their parishioners don't even know it. And he giving them crumbs and the church getting the crumbs from the crumbs. Because he giving the money to the pastor. He ain't giving it to the church. He giving it to the pastor. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. That's why I don't have a lot of pastor friends. Because they know I say it. So that's what bothers me. Y'all not mad because of this. Y'all mad because your gravy train has left the station.
Right.
That's what you're mad at, but you can't stand in the pulpit and say that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to say he was a man for the people. No, he was a man for your pockets. That's what he was a man of. He was a man of your pockets.
Right.
And the point of the matter is, we're going to set ourselves back because people in their feelings saying that, hey, well, like him said, y'all had a chance. The election came and went. The man didn't win. We got to move on. Let him run again in 4 more years, whenever. But he had his time.
But the thing about it,
time. And it's done. We gotta move on. And I don't work for Tony. I'm not a pop. I just see the fact. I look at the facts as the way they are.
I agree.
I call a spade a spade. You either like it or you don't. I'm just telling the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But the thing about it with the other man that's running, the Republican, because some of y'all gonna go not even vote on that spot because y'all mad about Israel, and y'all gonna let this Republican in, and they want to talk about Tony lack experience and all of that. If I remember correctly, Israel lack experience. He wasn't no deputy, no nothing like that.
No, he was, but the thing about it is, you don't have to be a police officer to be a sheriff.
But
it's a political spot.
But that's what I'm saying. This Republican guy, he has no experience. He's an attorney. So once you let an attorney into law enforcement world, what y'all think he finna be trying to do to the black people? He's an attorney. He's an attorney, and he was in the army. So we letting him in thinking he gonna care something about us. That's even more. If you doing your research, you mad at Tony, but look at this man y'all finna let creep through the doors, probably go uncontested because half of y'all ain't gonna vote in that spot. It's like, come on, like Pastor said earlier, we don't know what we want. We talk about what we want, but we don't know what we want. We just don't know. He's totally unrelatable to black people. He ain't gonna have no problem locking y'all up because he come from that world. He's an attorney with no law enforcement experience at all.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm putting it on the record.
They looking at it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Alicia. Go ahead.
They looking at it as you said. He's attorney because they looking at it as just like we know Broward County is one of the biggest sheriff's county in the world. Money. That's what they looking. They looking at. He gonna try to be another Trump, whoever this person is. Let's just make this more of a business than serving the actual community, because that's what they're supposed to be doing, serving the community.
But I'm talking about black people. We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why we have to vote for Tony when it comes around. And any other ones who are on there, because those people who are on there, that flyer that you showed, you know how big that is? That is powerful. You talking about the elections, attorney. You talking about all of that. You know
I
what I'm
don't think
saying?
another major county in America can say that. She say so, not Dade County. We don't even want to talk about Dade County. My goodness, Dade County. Oh
Y'all
Jesus.
let me down. Some of
Oh my
y'all.
God.
So,
We
We
got more
let a lady
Hispanics
who
than black.
we keep letting a lady as our state attorney office who wouldn't even like I mean she oh Jesus. I don't
well,
Trump
her.
I
You
dropping
got
you the
you got
rope.
you got her. You got Barbara Schwartz. You got Al Casey. All those people ain't doing nothing. Ain't moved. They sitting down. The years has passed. They not doing
Hey, we
nothing.
talking about Broward tonight.
I'm talking about. I said her too.
which leads me to this question. But let me put this on the record. I'm gonna go to that question, Tanisha. Because this is why I don't want to say I can't stand black folk, but this is why I can't stand black folk sometimes.
Come on, Pastor. Now,
Because
let's be nice.
because somebody told me going back to the sheriff for a moment. Why would we support somebody who the union don't support them? I said, did you see the article when the union said they wasn't going to support Tony? They said no. I said the article came out that we don't believe that he's backing police. Where do you think that statement came from? When he fired the Tamarack officer who y'all protested to be fired,
Get
who
fired.
y'all raised all the hell for him to be fired. Some of y'all was hoping he didn't fire him so you could use it as ammunition to get him out of office, but he fired the man. And when he fired the man, Jeff Bell, who is the union rep, turned on Tony. Remember, this is the same Jeff Bell that got Israel out. So Jeff Bell turned on Tony when he fired the cop for stuff that y'all was protesting about. But you're going to use that against him? I say, man, you's an idiot. I can't say what else I said. But this is the reason the people do what we ask them to do, and we use it against them. And now I'm all, it all, I don't think it's going to happen. But the fact that I'm hearing the rumblings of it, it's just making me sick to my stomach. But I'm going to go to something you said, Tanisha, because I wanted to touch on it tonight. Politically, you look at Alcee Hastings, Catherine Rundle, all these people who've been in off. Jeff Sachs, the only reason why he's not a state attorney today is because he just retired after 40 years. Catherine Rundle been there 27 years. Alcee Hastings, I forget how many years, but he's 83 years old. 83.
Living in the city and been there for the last 4 years.
Yeah, 83. And I'm not, again, on your show, I was called all type of names for being sexist and aces. But should politicians just be able to continue, or should there be some tenure? Because I'm thinking, brother, by the time you leave office, you're going to be almost 90 years old. What other job, career, let's be frank, what other job or career would they allow you to have that type of power at 90 years old? And we're missing out on Miss McCormick, who I think would have done a marvelous job. She's tried twice. She's getting there. And Dade, the young lady, she got over 100,000 votes as state attorney, but Catherine she keeps running off name recognition.
Yeah.
Alcee Hastings, thank you, is another one. You know, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Are we just voting on people that we know because we recognize their face?
Yeah, because we don't do our homework. Because in Hastings' case, he didn't even have to show up. He won by
No
a
campaign, no
landslide. And
nothing.
even Catherine beat that lady by far because we as people don't do our homework. So when we don't do our homework, we go to the polls
And
saying,
looking for names.
my mama said her name before. Let me check her. Because that's all we know what we heard grandma say in them. So if you heard grandma and them say Hastings, you heard them say Rondo, because them the names that been around forever. So that's how we vote. And that's why if we have Nikisha young children, we need to educate our children on
Absolutely.
how to do your research. We Google everything else. We teach children how to
Everything.
Google everything else. It's no research. So when you go to the poll, they went to the poll saying, I gotta vote for sheriff. Oh shoot, these other names on here, all they knew was sheriff. Like we going to the poll in November, I gotta vote for president. After they vote for Biden, oh shoot, who is this? Okay, I'm gonna click him. They just go by name recognition, or they go by the first name on top of the list. Either way, it's the system. But it's anything other than research, because that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to think. We don't want to research. We just want to be able to complain and talk later.
Keisha, you're not 40. You've had all your life. It's been the same state attorney in Broward County. All your life, it's been the same guy until
Mine
recently.
too.
I'm 40. I've only seen two state attorneys in Dade County: Janet Reno and Kathy Ronda.
Yeah.
And I'm 40, and two. Them the only two I've seen in my lifetime. Alcee Hastings been there pretty much all my lifetime. What I'm saying is this effective? Is this effective? Is this effective? What we're doing, Tanisha? What's going on? I mean, what are we doing? How can how can up and coming political prowess, and I commend her. That was the tightest race ever. Sabrina Fulton, man, give it up to her, man. She lost by like 2 votes.
350 votes.
350 votes. That thing went down to the wire. I think she's got a state representative seat with her name on it, personally. But Tanisha, when you look at that, when you see that, again, it's not attacking older people. It's not that. But when you see Alcee Hastings, and what do you think?
I'm gonna let Keisha talk after because I think this would be a question for her. No, seriously, because I think they should move out the way, and the reason why is because of the space that we're in right now. And I mentioned it because of Black Lives Matter. A lot of things have come to the table as to what we're doing. So you have a lot of people that say, "Okay, let's go ahead and let's do this." When it comes to our brown and black community or Black Lives Matter, these people had something to say. They both were on a forum. They didn't even know what was going on. And I'm talking about Hastings and Barbara right here in Sunrise, who represent, the other district. They didn't know. They didn't know what to talk about. They don't know what's going on. They're not relevant to what's going on. So how can they represent us? And how can they request for any type of laws or changes when they're not even in the trenches? They don't know the lingo. You understand what I'm saying? They don't know the lingo. So move out of the way. And you're right. He was a state attorney, Michael Schultz, forever. But he said, okay, let me move out the way. He thought his other
He decided to move, not the voters. He just gave it up.
Yeah, he moved. He said he's leaving vacation. Now,
his daughter needed him to teach the grandchildren for virtual school.
Right. So, Keisha, what are your thoughts?
I'm right with you there, Tanisha. As long as I can remember when I initially started voting, Hastings has definitely been there. I actually had the opportunity to meet him at a gala with one of my girlfriends. And I just feel like when there's no fire left and you're not out on the pavement and meeting these people, then at some point you have to let somebody that has that burst of energy, that doesn't mind getting in the nitty gritty and doing the work. He doesn't do any work. I mean, he says nothing. His name is just there. Everybody knows Alcee Hastings. So I definitely agree. I think for some of these particular positions, there should be some age criteria. Not to say you can't be 90 and still do the job, but maybe do the job locally versus actual in the seat. So I really think at a certain tenure in life that maybe at 65 should be the cutoff. Maybe it's still too young, because I don't know at 65 am I still gonna be hot, but maybe at a specific age when you can't actually do the fight and you got somebody that's hungry for that particular position that can actually do the work for us, then I think you should definitely allow someone else the opportunity, versus at 93, who knows where we're gonna be at during that age. So I
think it's like anything else. Like at your job, they tell you got age or years. Like he has both. I mean, Alcee Hastings got the age and the years, but they don't just let you sit there forever to collect a check, and that's what Alcee Hastings unfortunately is doing. Because whenever you get to the point where you don't have to show up,
Hindering.
we don't see his
No
face.
campaign,
You
no
don't see
nothing.
campaign. You don't see anything. You don't see him on TV. I mean, at least I see Frederica Wilson on TV. Like you
All
don't
the
see
time.
Alcee Hastings nowhere but on the ballot. That's the only time you see him.
I've seen a few signs.
It's like a pastor search committee. They need to get like a pastor search committee and be checking for his replacement like they do pastors.
And I'm not just after him. This is in politics, period. Like
Yeah.
we see the devil, and that's what we're going back before with this Senate seat. We know how hard it is. Kamala could have just been there forever till she was 93. That once you get there, it's hard to get there, but it's easy to stay there, especially if you ain't killed nobody, you ain't did nothing real crazy. You can stay there forever because it becomes. I recognize her face. I don't know why I know her. It's one of them. I don't know where I know her from, but I've been looking at her face. So hey, I'm a vote. So that.
But like you said about Tony, you'll be a fool to give up if they don't have nothing else to go do. What he gonna give it up for? What he gonna go do? Yeah, it's the people. You can't blame Hastings for keep on running. It's the people. You expect that he will have some kind of whatever about himself, but if ain't nobody saying, "Oh, Doc, give it up," he gonna come right back because
Right
they
there
gonna
with
put
that
him.
check, Kim.
And yeah, they gonna keep it. It might not even. I don't know what the check pay, but he might be getting a retirement over here, Social Security over there, this over here. It's something to keep
Fundraiser
on.
check. Yeah, all
Yeah,
that.
Oh
it's
yeah,
the same
these
thing.
political positions, they don't pay much in theory.
Right, right.
Yeah, in theory they don't pay much, but when you spend millions, like the presidency pays what, 400 grand, but if you spend $90 million, you ain't spending $90 million to make 400 grand. I tell you that. I think Rick Scott spent $25 million to get his Senate seat, and he don't pay $100,000. You're not spending $25 million of your own money to make 25. It just we understand what it's really about. But I'm gonna give it our last question. We got to go for the night. I want y'all to see this real quick.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to the polls to vote in the Florida primary. I have some very, very strong opinions in the primary, but even stronger on November 3rd. You know what we're going to do? Make America great again. That's what we have to do. We have no choice. We have to save our country. So I'm signing today an absentee ballot. Absentee ballots are not universal mail-ins. These are really good. You have to work to get them, and you have to make sure everything's perfect, and you send them in, and very little can go wrong. So absentee ballots are good. Universal mail-ins, when you get inundated with these things, are bad and will lead to terrible things, including voter fraud, etc. But absentee is good. So get your application, send in your absentee ballots immediately. Thank you.
You hear that? He's such an idiot. Absolute idiot.
Okay,
So-
so
This is the last topic.
What just happened?
Florida said that the president is wrong. It's the same thing, because it is the same thing. So if you in Florida, let's hope you know that that's the same thing as a absentee and a mail. It's because
I
what
didn't
you
even
do
have
to
to
your
throw out the question, man.
what do you do with your absentee ballot? You mail
Mail
it
it in.
in.
Idiot.
So again, people, I keep questioning this man level education, but nobody won't jump on board with me. We want to talk about birth certificates. Let's talk about high school diplomas.
Can we just talk
I'm
about
sorry,
common
what's the
sense?
question?
So I didn't have to go. I didn't have to even ask the question, huh, y'all?
Listen
Go
to
ahead,
this.
ask the question, because
I
I
wanna
got
know,
something else
y'all,
to say about him.
answer the question before I can ask.
Go ahead, because I got something else. Go ahead.
Okay, Pastor A, Kim, teacher. They know what they doing. Don't you know when the person recorded that was like, look at this stupid fool. They know. They're making him look just as foolish as he is because they want their own party out of there. He got up the other day and said, oh, I'm going to what's the word? Give a pardon for Susan B. Anthony.
Right.
Say what now? It's just stupid stuff. Like, who think of this stuff? I like they sitting around and they say, "Oh,
Jesus
why don't you do
pardoned her,
this?" And he's
didn't
like,
he?
"Oh yeah, that's a good idea." It's like, and they sitting there, I'm like, "You idiot!"
Jesus
You
pardoned
real
her a long
idiot.
time ago.
That's like the lady he pushing now in Baltimore. She won the campaign. She won the GOC primary, and he's like all of a sudden he's a big fan. It's a black lady,
Don't even
big
know her.
fan, been following you. Listen, it's a runoff, lady. I mean, they got to go in the general. What are you talking about? But he does. This is what he does, man. He's like, I'm saying to myself when I saw this, like, am I missing something? Let me rewind it. Am I missing? He says absentees are good, mail-ins are bad.
All you gotta do is mail
Just
it in.
fill it out and leave it home.
The stamp for an absentee, but you need a stamp for a mail-in. Maybe that's the part y'all missing.
But they passed. We done raised so much saying that his buddy decide that he will suspend. They're no longer going with the regulations for the postal. Now they ain't said they gonna bring them mailboxes back that they took off the street. They haven't said that, but he's saying that they're not going to go forward with the defunding of the postal service at this point. I think they've done the damage that they wanted to do at this point. But it's all tied. He has convinced America, I haven't made you safe to go and vote. Don't vote by mail, vote by absentee. That's the way to go.
Stuff that just make you scratch your head. Or stuff that make you say,
While we're talking about the post office, let's talk about this man he appointed to the post office, okay? Back to the lack of experience, lack of education. If anybody know anything about the postmaster general, that is like the highest of like one of the highest position. You won't even get voted into that. You don't just get that because you worked at the post office a long time.
And it's the highest paid position, one of the highest paid positions in the world.
Right,
really.
right. If you mess with this mail, you going to jail. It's like a federal thing. So this person is responsible for overseeing it. And this man he appointed to be the postmaster ain't never been a postal worker, ain't never probably mailed nothing, probably don't know what the cost of a stamp is. And this 45 go and make this man who is the head of Republican fundraising, he made him the postmaster general. Don't y'all see where I'm going with that? How does that even, somebody that's the head of Republican funding, when you know that's a lot of money, you're gonna go make them the postmaster general?
Yeah, fraud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brandon, I love it.
And if you steal a stamp off of somebody's letter, they back gonna want to prosecute you. But we gonna let this man fraud all kind of who knows what kind of fraudulent stuff is going on.
Sad.
So the last question about post, since you brought it up. So Tanisha, if we get mail, they mail out your Social Security, they mail out your stimulus, all that has been good. But if I mail in my ballot, it's not good. What do you think about that when you hear that?
Voter suppression thing about trying to use tactics to scare us, to make us fear that when it is that Republicans are from percentage, do they mail in ballots the most? But try to put fear in us that something's going to happen with the ballot. We just ought to just forget about it. Don't even vote. Why even bother? That's the sense that he's trying to make sense to us. But because we are educated people, he need to try that to the people that's in the mountains in Tennessee. And I'm just going to keep it real. Keep it up with them, not with us. We don't fall for, we shouldn't fall for stupidness like that. That's all I got to say.
We wrapping it up there. What I mean, when you closing remarks, I can't anymore. Just give me some closing remarks.
But listen,
when I almost didn't play it, but when I saw it, I couldn't not play it because I was just trying to figure out what maybe I wanted to play it so y'all could see, and I guess it was the same thing. I don't know. I feel like Don Lemon when when Don Lemon just sit there and be like that's how I feel right now. I'm speechless, man. When Go ahead, Kimberly.
Oh no, because I was finna talk about another dumb story about Trump.
No, I can't take another one.
So don't come to me.
No, I can't. Nikisha, give
What
us
is
some.
it?
Give us
We
some.
got
Talk
5
about.
minutes. What is it?
Read a scripture or something.
He don't want me to talk about it, so
Do anything. I
I don't
can't.
know,
I
you
can't tonight.
y'all got so much. We got so many flames over here. I think we just got to end speechless. I don't know what to say.
I was gonna talk about this. Tanisha was talking about boycott. How we need to boycott Amazon. Well, the president apparently wants y'all to boycott Goodyear now
Good
I
year.
because
was.
he
Good year
say
tires.
Goodyear is out to get them, and he
Listen,
say
Okay, let's talk
that.
I'm
about
like
that. Let's
Nathan
talk
now.
about
Oh
that.
Lord.
Cause I
Yeah.
have that as a topic. I have that
See
as a
there?
topic. I had that as a topic.
He's
Since you brought
go
it
ahead.
up. So the question is, this is the good year. I don't know if you guys could see it. It may be a little distorted, but um, they said it didn't come from corporate, but they're saying Black Lives Matter T-shirts are good, LGBT T-shirts are good, but no All Lives Matter, no Blue Lives Matter, no MAGA attire
Oh, that's
is
why they.
allowed, and so of course 45 is pissed. Now I will say this: it seems a little lopsided to me. I think Goodyear is treading down a slippery slope because and of course an employee screenshotted this because their response was, hey, I don't mind if somebody wears a Black Lives Matter, but it seems to be a little hypocritical. Forgetting about what we think about Trump and all that stuff, my question is simple: is that hypocritical? Tanisha, is that hypocritical? Do you
Yeah,
think that's
absolutely. It's
hypocritical?
hypocritical. I mean, we just keep it real. It's hypocritical to say that you can wear a red shirt but you can't wear a brown shirt, because red is good for you and brown is bad, It's hypocritical if you're gonna say it's not a political hat, it's just a statement. Just like Black Lives Matter would be a statement on their shirt or a movement or I don't know what else. What was the other negative? Or the LGBTQ.
All lives matter. All
All
lives. They
lives
couldn't wear
matter.
all
I
lives
mean,
matter. They couldn't
I'm
wear
like
black.
this. You should wear any of them because it causes attention. You know what I'm saying? In the workplace, none of them should be worn because everybody has different sides, and some
Different
people don't know
opinion.
how to fight fair with their words. They get physical or whatever. So I don't. I think none of the shirts, and I'll say that none of the shirts should be allowed. Not even in Publix with oh, that boy got a Black Lives Matter. They made him kick him out. Yeah, don't come to work like that. None of those things should be allowed. That's just my opinion.
And I've been saying that I think the Black Lives Matter movement and all those types of things is good when it's for you. It's good when you're good with it. But if somebody walked in there and said White Lives Matter,
You mad?
you mad. And I think as black people, we don't like to hear that side, Keisha, but it's real.
It's
It's
very
real.
real.
And when you bring that to the table, and I got chewed out by saying that earlier doing all this protesting, and I said it's fine. But what happens when someone else wants to? Because people was boycotting Chick-fil-A when they thought that they were wearing Blue Lives Matter, and come to find out they wouldn't even talk about police. They were talking about a sporting event, and that they had that campaign 3 years ago. But people was ready to boycott Chick-fil-A because they thought they was wearing Blue Lives Matter. So we can't be hypocritical.
Absolutely.
And so don't bring it to the workplace. I think, Tanisha, you're right. Companies have a right to tell you not to, I mean, they do. They tell you not to wear hoop earrings. We got to make sure that we're not overly sensitive in this season as well. That's my take on it. But go ahead, Keisha.
I agree. I think certain places, certain things shouldn't be allowed because, for one, most of us aren't educated enough to even speak on some of the things, and then we always get in our feelings about certain things. So, if someone has a Trump hat on, I support Trump. Depending on what mood you in, you may be ready to run up to Nancy and say, "Hey, take that hat off." I just feel like certain things and wearing them at especially work, because that's where you go every day. It shouldn't be there. I think it's inappropriate. So I know we have our freedom of speech and we should be able to wear, but you should not be able to wear them in workplaces, business places where other people have to come in, because certain things affect and offend other people. So I think certain areas it should not be in. So that's just my take on it.
Kim, you get the final on this. Brandon is going ham on
Brandon is
y'all.
He on roll
hilarious.
right
Y'all,
now.
y'all take his phone, man. So wherever he at, somebody take his phone because he
He's
is
sitting in a
going.
parking lot. He got to be.
My thing is, again, go back to the lack of just the tact in the educated president, because everything we said and everybody spoke so articulately and said why it was wrong and all of that. But 45 says the Republicans do it all the time. I mean, not the Republicans, the Democrats do it all the time. So I'm going to come after them. The Democrats are responsible for them saying this about me. Again, he made like we just had this intelligent conversation to iron it all out, to let people know, okay, this is wrong, this shouldn't be. And as the president, you talking about you for the economy. You talking about you for the economy and you want the economy to soar and the economy doing the best, and you going after this company that been around hundreds of something years over something that you could have
And they
easily
stock
took your
fell.
platform. You could have took your platform and said this is what whatever, and you want to say the Democrats are so divisive and all they do is promote divisiveness. That's what he been saying about the whole the Democratic convention. It's been so divisive. But then you come back the next day and you be divisive and you telling people because it's your personal hat. It's not like it's a hat that talk about the flag of the country, not to do this and don't that and don't go support. So again, we talking about hypocrites. You can't talk about it's a hypocritical situation and you presenting a hypocritical scenario and you the biggest hypocrite of all. So yeah, that was my
Y'all,
thing.
it's been a great show. I think like a
Thank
month
you.
ago, um, Kim said so much stuff that Facebook kind of started shutting us down. And my numbers ain't been the same since. So y'all make sure y'all continue to share this, like this, comment, because for some reason we got thrown off the algorithm of this show. So man, it's been real. Tanisha, I'm gonna give you the close out. You know, we're together on Monday. And so we're looking forward to that as well. But talk about some other things that you may be doing, some other platforms that you may be on. And I close and said, thank you for being our guest tonight,
Thank
filling in
you.
for us. You always welcome back. You know, you can always join us if you're not doing anything. You will love to have you. I'm sure our guests, our
Let me
visitors
know when
love
you
you.
coming so I could take a night
Our
off.
other co-hosts had to go to school, and so we are looking for another show, another co-host. But go ahead, give us some closing things, some things that you do that this audience may not know about.
All right, guys. So listen. So some of the things that some of those candidates could have done has gotten a person like me as a consultant or PR consulting. I reached out, and y'all might be listening, so it is what it is. I reached out to some of them. I said, "This is what you need to do." That was a opportunity to say, "You know what? Let me get you on board. Let's do this." And I gave it to them for free. Sometimes we have to put our money there in order for us, because you're already putting your money out there anyway, running. So just put a little extra out there. Let's get this thing going. Guys, on Friday, if you look on my page, I'll be on speaking on relationship. It's called Some of the Things That We Don't Want to Talk About. So that should be interesting. And also on Saturday, I'll be part of a hosting for a business expo that will be at the Discover the Beauty Within, Mandy Frederick, that will be held at the Lotta Hill Performing. I'm thinking as I'm talking, the Lotta Hill Performing Arts Center in Fort Lauderdale and Lotta Hill on 441 in off Sunrise. So if you guys have nothing to do, it's about business, it's about community work. You guys can pop in, catch us again on Monday at 7 p.m. I enjoy this. I'm just sitting here chilling, do all the work, Pastor A. So hey,
I
who
know.
knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's all I got to say. But I thank you guys for being here, and I just want everybody who's out there, let's not be mad no more. That was yesterday. It's gone. Let's focus on what we have, and let's try to create something where we can create, as we talked about many times, our own economic empowerment. Our own economic, our Black empowerment for our community. You know what I'm saying? Let's do this. And Brandon, you
Lord.
out there, you kept it funny for us. You was on the road, you couldn't stop.
Oh God, we went in overtime with the show because of that. We wasn't even gonna. Listen, guys, it's been fun. Next week, we didn't have time to talk about it. We hinted on Blacks in Power, but we're gonna focus on that a little bit because I got an interesting clip. You're gonna want to listen to next week's show. I got a powerful clip that you want to see talking about Blacks in Power. Has it been favorable for Blacks when Blacks have been in power? So we're gonna talk about that a little bit next week, and perhaps we'll talk about this DRC. Then we'll probably talk about the NRC as well on next week. Thank y'all so much for watching. Somebody please get Brandon's phone, cause
Pastor Austin
something
is
is really
bad.
wrong with
Pastor A
him.
is good.
He been over he been on vacation too long. He need to go. Somebody done did some crime somewhere, and he need to go see what's going on with it. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. We out. Peace.